Pratis. Thank you, Kalaloshin. Thank you, Rabbi Yafi. Thank the Rabbeinu Shalom. Amen. Chaim l'chaim. L'chaim Yeshua's Gemurahs. Amen. All fronten and all areas.
01, 02. Yisrael Kelner. You know Yisrael Kelner? Kelner.
Who?
He's my fundraiser. He's Rabbi Yudam.
Chaim Shabbat Ben Shendel.
He works for all of us.
Yeshua Gemurah. Now here's the story. I once came to Novahardok and guess they're all talking about it. Guess what happened? This is unbelievable. Look at this, Rabbi Say. It's never by him. Now, the best, you want to be a happy person, read this. This will change. The child, what do you look like when you read whatever the exciting things about this, the latest Unglik, the latest volcano that erupted, the latest COVID casualties, the latest, what this politician that's banished, and whatever. What happens to you when you read these things? What do you look like as a result? Now, when you, first of all, I'm not making away with anything. If it's not also, there's no, I don't make away with anything. There's always worse. And what says they gefalach? You did an avera. If you read a little bit, the place was big spiel. Not lishon hard, not whatever. Oh, but if you want to be a happy person, read this type of stuff. Read happy stuff. You become a happy person. It's gesund to read happy things. It's healthy for your mind, for your body, for your spirit. Read happy things. I said a word that the Eibishter, it says, I believe about 8 times it says, Vayarli Kim Kitayv. The Eibishter said it's a good world. I don't want to be chaylik on the Eibishter, chas v'sholom. When people, you hear sad reports and zachen. Back in the day, one once came to Rabbi Yaakov Teitelbaum never reported a negative thing. Even when it was mamish, his own, like someone was nifta, his own lechveisvas, and someone got to tell his wife, let someone else do the dirty work. I don't report those things. Rabbi Yaakov Teitelbaum was a very, very riesige Adam Choshev. He was the Rav in Camp of Guna. There's a lot of very stark stories about him. A real tzaddik. That was his anhage. I once came to France, and guess what? There was a crash. What was the crash? Rabbi Geshen described it to me. Rabbi Geshen was in a crash. I think that let's make it exciting. Let's make it exciting. The content of, I believe that's exactly what happened. But somebody. Now, the story goes like this. There was a bacha driving, and Rabbi Geshen told him to watch yourself. You know, the European drivers, they have these little tiny cars, which are much more dangerous than, and when they drive, like, boom, like, it's like, what do they say when you go to these playland, go to these great adventure, go to these roller coasters, you're wild. Some people, they get into a car and they fly. It's crazy. What are you doing? It's fine. That's the minhag ha'olam. You ever see them? Okay, whatever. You get into the car and they fly. They don't. And this fellow was particularly a little bit too lebedik. And Reb Gershon kept telling him to calm down. Please calm down a little bit. And the guy just kept flying, it's good. Zeb Beseder, Rabbeinu. Zeb Beseder, what a young chevra, just got his license, or maybe he didn't have a license, who knows? It's a gewend freilach. And he's flying as a target, so, a real b'tachon, huh? You had a b'tachon, watch out with these b'tachon. Anyway, Reb Gershon kept telling me, that's the way the story goes. And suddenly it was over. I head on, the guy was coming. Now, I'm not sure. What I recall is the guy was coming this way, and he was that way, and boom, they collided. And the car went flying, a couple of somersaults, and Yenamaisis. Anyway, Rabbeinu's gut reaction, Reb Gershon's gut reaction was, "Oi, Zamachel," like it's my fault. That's the way his whole life, you should know. Someone once checked about the Alt. I heard this from Yeshua Schwartz. What was he all about? Now, again, I'm not 100% sure about this story, but for sure it's ganz fine, fits in. He always thought about himself. What does that mean? Now, if you only care about yourself, you don't care so much about the person you married. Is she this? Did I live happily ever after with this, whatever I fell into? Or is she that? Or my kids this? Or my kids that? Or my boss at the work conditions? Everything in your life is, how do you look? How are you receiving the issues in your life? You know, next week is Parshas B'Shalach. We're going to have a Meirdika Pasuk. It's half full of a fella. I'm okay. It says, Vayasa Moshe. Moshe made them. Now, when they were at Yamsuf, they went wild. The Bizas Hayam was Lebedik. That's Rashi's shot. And Moshe had to pull him away. But Chazal say, they wanted to stay there. They didn't want to leave. Because they saw the Shekhinah. So now why Moshe Vayasa? He made them, he had to force them. That very same pasuk says, no water, and people screaming, what are we going to do next? Moshe Rabbeinu, his life was Nisyanis. He understood the truth of being alive. You're going to sit here, and you're going to see the Shekhinah, that's for Yenavelt. You're going to enjoy yourself. Wow! The Shira and everything, the whole matzah over there by Kriyas Yamsuf, they're enjoying what they're seeing there. That's great for Yenavelt. We're here for Nisyanis. That's the way I touched up. The very same pasuk, Vayasa, and boom, and a soya, and oh boy, there's no water, and what are we going to do? Everyone's catching. How are you going to respond to a Nisayan? Your life is you. Rabbi Chaim Motchel Weinker and Zatzal used to constantly tell me, there's you and the Rabbeinu Shalom. That's all there is in your life. Nobody but you and the Rabbeinu Shalom. Everything else is, how are you responding to this Nisayan and that Nisayan? And his son, once told me that. It makes life much easier. The Nisayan. This person, Nisayan. This problem, Nisayan. Just saying the word Nisayan, and the whole thing is not as severe and as dangerous and as terrible. It's an Nisayan. You're being tested. Now you marry so-and-so, you need Nisayan. That's why there was no such bria as an Novhardok not having Shalom bias. What are you talking about? It's all Nisyanis. I knew a Novhardok who was on his second marriage, and they told him, you married that lady, divorced lady? You wait. She'll destroy your life forever. He told me the story himself. He left his head off, and he married her. I was in the house. She was batal amavutal. She adored him, and I heard him complimenting her food, b'kol ram. He had no trouble whatsoever. There was no what? Shalom bayis, what? Who? What? They were not interested in what she looks like, what she is, what she's type, and she has this problem, and they were not interested. Your whole life is in a sign. How you're responding to this? How's your kas issue? B'chlal, they didn't suffer. People who are always learning Musa simply don't suffer. What are you suffering? What? The real issue is covered. I heard this from Chaim Langlam once. He told me the whole issue in a person's life is 90% kamat, a health problem, something else. If all your issues can be traced to nothing more than petty redifas hakov. What bothers you so much about your kid is not so, or whatever, because you're friends. Ha ha ha. He has better kids than you. The Welt says, Mi Yasher hurts worse than Mi Ani. You know, he's got to get rich. I can't handle that one. Oh, he got rich and you. So you covet. So if you're heavily involved in getting rid of covet, like Nobhardok is, I'm going to tell you, Murdik and myself. They held covet, was all over the place. There is a story about Reb Gershon with the Nazis. I'm not sure, wherever it was. They tried to be marshal him to walk between two women. They tried to get him to do it. Now, there's different Gershons. One is he took a bat and Reb Gershon. The other Gershon is he did something that you don't really do. It's not so proper. You take a handkerchief when you have to blow your nose. Dafka didn't do that. And it was over. What's the issue? What's the issue? You do that, it's ice issue. You know, what issue? Just do one of those, because they know that the whole sugya of Tailit is nothing more than covet. As soon as you kill the covet aspect, the whole thing's in the garbage. You know, you do a thing like that. That's the Nobhardok. They were so smart. And they lifted everything. They saw through the fallacy of Kinna Taiva covet. They did a lot of work in that. They chopped the stupidity of all the Yetzaharas. That's the way they did it. They didn't just keep away. They do that too, but mainly they understood, why are you so worried about the other Rebbe being better than you? Uh-oh. What's bothering you? Oh, that you're covered again. Oh, that's so nice. You finally started getting along with your brother-in-law. If you've had kinna for how many years? You finally saw that your brother-in-law just lost some money, and now you feel more comfortable with him, because now he don't look as great as he used to. He's not the biggest gear in town, and you're to nobody. So now you got to look. So now you got the guy that you teach. Whatever it is. It's an assignment. It's all nisyanis. It's all nisyanis. It's all nisyanis. You're being tested all your life. This nisyan is over. Here comes another one. Moshe Rabbeinu understood that. That's why he was Moshe Rabbeinu. Let's sing a niggin. Well, I believe in the gun big time. But they're enjoying the Shechina. Vayasa, get. Nisyan, no. Let's start your boy side. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. That's his world. He was the first Nobhardok. It was Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu took a look and said, let's see you pass in the Nisyan. The Shira is nice, it's wonderful, but you didn't come here for that. That's for the next world mainly. In that main world, you'll be singing, you'll be happy. This world, you're here. Adam lo amul yulad. You take care of your nisyanis and don't get so broken and so this and so that, and learn Musa. The Alta from the Nobhardok has a shmuz on nisyanis. That's required reading. He says by Eliezer ben Avraham. He says over there that Eliezer ben Avraham was Eliezer ben Avraham. The reason why, no, not Eliezer ben Avraham. Sorry, but Yeshiv Yaakov. Bikesh Yaakov Yeshiv Shalom. David says, not enough to have Bailam. They need there's Tsar Ayin. David doesn't fagin. A tzaddik should have a good time over here. He said, no. The whole tachlis is nisyanis. You're here to grow. You're here to shtay. So that's why Kafas Allah Brooks and Shal Yosef. There's a report, I don't know if it's true. They say B'Shem of Gershon, that Yaakov purposely bought Yosef Exonis Pasim to see the Shvatim. No, how are you going to handle this one? No, you know, I'll bring up. There is a Meiri, I believe, in Kedushin. that a father should do this to his sons, to his kids, to try to get them angry, to see if to rate them on, to see if they'll be nechshel and keep it up. You heard of such a meeting? It's a Gemara. Oh, it's a Gemara. Yeah, it's a Gemara. Shine. There you go. It's a Gemara. You should do. He touches up like that. That's so a person to see. No, what are you gonna do with this, Babala? Huh? If your big sister is so matzliach and she doesn't have school on Sunday, you gonna make your Rebbe crazy now because your sister doesn't. The reason why she doesn't have school on Sunday is to test you. The reason why your shvaga became rich is to test you. Forget about your shvaga and it's getting rich. You are being tested. That's what's really happening. That's the truth of everything in your life. So Geshen goes ahead. He's in a car crash, and he says, he asks Mechila from that same driver that he was telling him to pipe down, and he asks Mechila, because he yelled, it's a big schooler to do that, to blame yourself. It says, I think the Brisk Grove says over there by Yena. Yena said, I'm guilty. You know why the storm was going on? It's me. B'shvili nivra ha'olam means everything's centered around you. You'd be very, very self-centered in a positive way. It's all me. And do it positively. I mean like this. I have had mileage when I believed in that. I was once heavily involved in B'shvili nivra ha'olam. I was into it a lot. And that kufa, I had that kufa, there was a war. There were bombs going on in Eretz Yisrael. There were kind of jihads and blowing up buses, and I felt I'm in charge around here. And I used to work on myself a lot those days, and I watched the way everything went according to me. Like when I had an aliyah, nothing happened. I was week after week. I saw, hey, you're in control around here. And mistam, anybody can do it because every person. I felt during the war more than once. I felt okay. It's my tefillas here. Gaiva can do to you. It's Gan Eden. Get yourself a little Gaiva. I felt during the war. Okay, now we're going to kid around or not kid around. The Gulf War. I felt I'm going to save God's Klal Yisrael. And I davened and I watched. I davened there should be zero casualties. No, did that happen? I take credit. And I took credit for many, many years until one day somebody told me, I think it was a Chassidish Rebbe, he was in Los Angeles, a big tzaddik, and they were watching him as he was davening during the Gulf War, and he says, nobody should get hurt. So, I thought I was the big Kaplitz Macha around here. I see, it's fine. What just happened recently? A big Meifus Goli Minah Shemayim. One of the Staliners who got hurt very bad is related to somebody. So that's related to me. See, he calls me up. There was a Muslim in the family. I says, how's he doing? He said, Nisim Galuyim, he's walking around. No one believes it. It was beyond years. His whole body was Hashem Yirachim. And suddenly it's a new matzav and everything. They told him on the phone? Take credit. It was your tefillas. Take credit. It was your tefillas. And as soon as I got off the phone, I says, I know who really deserves credit. It's me. Halavai. If you would hold like that, you know how much more you would steig. Yetzahara. Maybe it's taka me. Maybe you're not allowed to hold. No. You can't do that. It's Gaiva. Okay. It's Gaiva. You know what I heard this from an Adam Golem Oid, an American. He told me, the Welt says, nice guys finish last. You know what that means? The nice guy is in the garbage. Oh, you're so nice. We'll leave you in the garbage can. We're going ahead in the world. we're taking over. You're nice. Stay, you hold your nobody. We're all masking. We all hold your nobody, and you hold like that, and stay like that. The Welt says you want to avoid criticism. Say nothing, do nothing, and be nothing. And then nobody will ever criticize you. By garnish, they garnish. It's been garnished, no? You hope from garnish. Anyway, guess what happened? Reb Gershon, he came that night. They were saying, tell him. Now, Reb Gershon wasn't really geiris. A car accident didn't mean anything to him. Oh, a car accident? Mela, what? And even though he's in it, even though the car is turning over, it's not. Nobody don't have a spilus b'chlal. Car accident. Oh, that's so nice. Now they're all talking. Because he was hurt. Something did happen to him. His back, I'm not sure. And he just wasn't interested in what happened to him. I'm not involved in that. How the bachim have to learn. His mind. Nobhardok have a shita, the mashkiach, of if you got a job as a mashkiach, you're not allowed to open a sefer. You got to be watching the bachrim all the time. Anyway, so he went running to yeshiva. And he comes to yeshiva. You have to rest. It was just a terrible accident. The car turned over. Hey, I know. Let's go. Yeshiva, let's go. We're going to yeshiva. Oh, Rabbeinu, how can you do that? They want to check you out. They felt they see something and you this and that. Yeah, I know. Let's go. We're going to yeshiva. Don't check me out. No mice over here. And they took him to yeshiva. And he sees the yeshiva. Shir Amalais. Imamakim Krasicha Hashem. He's all yeshiva screaming. He said, what's going on here? What are you guys doing here? They turn around. Cut this out. Go sit down and learn. What do you say? Look, tell him for me. That's the body. That's so funny. It's so funny. I heard a Maisa of Rav Galinsky. I was told, don't say it over. So now that's one to say over. They tell me, don't say this one over. What? I'm on the radio now. I'm on the radio. Now, Rav Galinsky, I want to tell you something. If you get covered for being, whatever you're doing, you're talking, they're all talking about you, do you want to know what poison? People come over to me, and they kill you with the way they talk. They destroy you. The way they think is not das Torah. I'm sorry. It is, whatever it is. It's das. I don't want to say. I heard you made it to the Ated. You made it to this. And they talk with Azayas. He made it to the other. What is that supposed to mean? What does it mean? It means you got covered. That's all it means. They're teaching you. Covered is chashiv. Just the way that the sichas chulin of people who don't learn, if they're not people heavily involved in these sugyas. By the way, I'm told Rabbi Miller, that's why I'm so with him. I don't even know why. Now I got it. Telling me from his Talmidim, all they talk about is covered, just like me. I felt you're out of no. That's the Chaybis Havavis is so into that. They tell you that they're killing you. They're making that choshev by you. The next time it happens, you're going to get all excited. And then they say, ooh, this guy, competition, he's better than you. A guy tells me that the other day. This guy's, what's going on? Oh, he's better than me? Oh, I hear. What's that supposed to mean? You want me to be a Kain and a Hevel over here? You want me to start? What's the difference? Oh, you're better than him. Oh, he's not bad, but you're much better. They're killing you by saying these things. They're inviting you to be involved in covet. They're showing you what's important. He has a big olam. Huh? What kind of olam does he have? This is a story that they say. A kid that davens by me. That's what they say, 11-year-old kid. They say, whatever happened. I don't know, but they're telling me They went over to him. They asked him, "Oh, you daven? What do you daven on Shabbos?" They daven in Bטחון. Mendel Bטחון. So, how many people daven there? The kid says, "That question is pure redifas hakavod." That's all you're talking. That's all it is. It's covered. It's so true. They got a lot of people with it. Reb Gershon used to scream, "Kamas, kamas, kamas." He used to, there's a Sefer Yoshel Rabbeinu Tam that says, the less you have, the better. You know what he says? The less you are, the better. The more important you are, the less there is of you. You hear that? Now, I shouldn't say this because I'm at a war against. I want people to go out and go out and go out. I want to stick to my thing, but there are shittas that are different. They hold, let's stick. I think B'Shem Rav Dessel, there's such a schmooze. We don't want the whole world. Kelm had 36 Bachram learning there. You know that? No, Kelm, the famous Kelm. We're not looking for. This is the matziv. We're not. Beis Talmud had 40 Bachram forever. For 30 years, 40. 2 hours the whole. That's it. We don't need the whole. We got a big achievement. No. We got 40 guys who were solid and they're into it. The Eichus was gewaldig in Beis Talmud. Was an unbelievable yeshiva. It still is. But you know how many guys they have? A lot of people. You know what? That destroys you. That destroys you, even if you have a lot of people in whatever you're doing. That's not healthy to live off all those, have a big oilam. What is that supposed to mean? It means redifas hakavod. It's destroying you. The sichas chulin that people are constantly saying are destructive. He's a better Rebbe. He's the best. He's the nobody. Now, I heard that Rabbi Mullet didn't like this. Whenever they gave him compliments, he didn't like it. There is a yeshiva, a Novandig yeshiva, that the success rate is ridiculously high. I heard the biggest rebbes, they say the last stop before the moon, go there. They send the worst, they can send people there who are addicted, who need to be behind bars. They're not fit to be among humans. And they laugh it off. They take the worst nation. They go, oh, Zera COVID, Zera Kavod. But he's addicted. Yeah, we know. But he can't help it. Yeah. Wait, we'll fix him out. You know what they do to these guys? I know firsthand. I've spoken to parents who have kids there. The parents are raving. You know what they do to these kids? The worst, first of all, oh, you have an addiction? We'll fix you up. Do you know they monitor these guys? If they have a lot of people on top of them, every move they make, they could smack you up. Also over there, they're the old school, that a boot camp, they're not. Anyway, and the kids die. The first thing they do is Muslim. First thing, how's that kinna issue? That's what's destroying your life. Taiva, kavod. They sit on Friday. They can learn Muslim from 8 o'clock in the morning, till 8 o'clock at night, and they love it because they're not in a society where Nothen Kaza was that Sal once told me that he knew a bacha who that used to learn Chafetz Chaim every day. He can't live without it. But he learns it in his dormitory room. He doesn't want to learn it in public. Why? It's not good for his image. It's not good for his image. He wants to be a lamdan, one of those. So this doesn't, he looks like one of. Now I'm very different, just in case you don't know me by now. I am like this. If I learn Gemara, I make sure nobody's around. I know a lot of people who do that, by the way. Not from the Novandig even. I know, see the Rebbe, it's a big Rebbe Hashem. Oh, you want everyone to see you. Now, Rabbi Miller, Rabbi Miller said that Rabbi Miller said that if this is what I heard, that if there's a knock on someone rings the doorbell, what do? Take out a Gemara. And so when he comes in, he'll see that you're learning. And I believe in that. You know why? Because that way they'll think you're a masmid, and you'll see yourself that Mr. Masmid. That's the way I teach it up. And get yourself a reputation as a masmid, and you'll live it. So we're not always ready for this type of another business. No one should see you learning Gemara. You're crazy. Let them see. You'll feel good about what you're doing. You'll get covered for it. You'll learn more. Get covered. Why not? I had a machlekes with a Rav, a big tzaddik. He's a big chassid of his. And he is Rabbi Miller's, one of his. And he told me that he's a big Raidif covered. Told me on himself. I says, you're not as bad as me. He says, no, I am worse than you. And I finally ended up saying, I'm the Raidif covered Hadar. That's what I told him. Anyway. But so there's a muckum for it. Galinsky? Okay, you want to hear the one I'm not supposed to tell over? You want to notice I'm trying to put it off. By the way, you know why I said that? To cover up for my memory loss. So, but that's not the real reason is, me. I start off here. I like Rabbi Akiva. You know the Rabbi Akiva used to daven? You know the way Rabbi Akiva daven? You know how he started? He started off one corner of the base medrash. The end of whatever he was davening, they found him the other end of the Gemara, Rabbi Akiva. That's why you started. You daven a lot, you go places. I recommend it. Daven. You have to have a Rebbe. Everything with a Rebbe. Watch what you're doing. Anyway, you want some nicer. But you got to remind me about this one. You got to, the Elam is hot cup. I'm impressed. Anyway, what happened with, Rav Galinsky said the following. Here goes. Wearing a kapota is good news. Everyone should get one of those. Why? Because then the Welt doesn't see the tzidus in the hosen. That's the one I was told not to tell over. Here's another one. I heard. What? Slip the back. You got to watch it. Here's one. There's another one I heard from Galinsky. Rav Galinsky said like this. No, this happened with Gershon. A friend of mine came to France, met Gershon, and Gershon said, how come you came here? I'm here in America. He came to, how come you came to us in France? How come you came? So Gershon, he told him, I heard that you have oivdim. So Gershon says, metan ayin or dan aleph? And that was Gershon. Fun. He once took me for it. I was once walking with him down the hallway in his big dormitory room. They still have a massive building over there. It used to be a hospital, I think, for insane people. So it wasn't very insane. I made that up. But there are, okay, let's joke around. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I'm walking with him, and he knew I was running after him I had just come from America, and I'm like, every move he made was like, and I was watching him. He says, oh, Kim, come. Want some sharayim? Come along, I'll give you. You see, you're making me a ganzer. Come, I'll give you some sharayim. God, I do that too over here. But him, it was like, come, have some sharayim. And he gave me his cornflakes. You know the story. The cornflakes. Novandigas, I heard some Talmud Chrome. That's all he told me. I says, tell me about Novandigas. He says he watched Galinsky in action. And they eat plenty, but they mix. You gotta mix. You gotta mix it. They are kaifa in peas and carrots. They don't hold from that. Who said, what is it called? Meat and potatoes. No. Eat whatever you want. Don't be so stressed out. Don't be so metzumtzum. They don't like metzumtzum. Tzias Mitzrayim means don't be metzumtzum. I say, grow son, says the Zabot. Tzias Mitzrayim is all over, whatever. every move you make, you can have a Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's why it's all over the place. Get out of this, the mode, all the fears and the issues going to kill you. Mitzrayim, Eretz Teva, Hurachava. Who? Meitzah. Who says this? Maral. There you go. Meitzah. Mitzrayim is Meitzah. Get out of it. Koved leiv Parai. Parai was heavy. What's this lashon heavy? The Welt says it's too heavy. When they want to say something's too from, it's too heavy. You ever hear that? Oh, too heavy. Too heavy. I know a guy, he was raising his kids a little bit strict, So they called up his daughter, he called up the lady in charge of there in the school who was involved with the girls. And the lady said, no. That's the way no, that's too heavy. That's too heavy. And I tell you, what was wrong with Parai? It was too heavy. It's often. Koved, that's lashon was used. I'm telling you, that's the real pshat in Parai. You think I'm making jokes. He's afraid to let us leave. What happens if they leave? What's going to kill you? He was afraid to let, maybe this will happen. Rabbi Volstein, Chaim Shalevitz's brother-in-law, Novehardok, says a beautiful pshat. Parai was a professional warrior. Parai was worried. What happens if this happens? There's a lot of them. And what happens? There'll be a war. And what happens if who says there'll be a war? But what if it does? But who says? What are you so worried? And if there's going to be war, and maybe they'll, if all the minority, he's got a whole, he's a warrior. And the whole problem came from a professional warrior. That's Parai. That's why when you're a warrior, everybody suffers. Because this is lachatzenu. Lachatz means pressure. Why do we have so much pressure? Because he's a pressure cooker. See, it makes everyone else pressure. If you're pressure, that's what we suffered. Mitzrayim. It started with too heavy, too much. And what's going to get us out of it? And it's toivo rechava. Relax. How do you like the lashon? Rechava. Zabat chalud dvash. Let's get it. By the way, when Parai said, wait, what do you want? Who niba miyalchem? So, he said, Hura gvorim. Oh, you want a karbanis? Karbanis? Okay. The men, young men, they bring karbanis. Ladies don't bring karbanis. Little kids don't bring karbanis. Old people are. The young men, okay. Ki oisah, time of action. So, Moshe said, no, Parai. Binareno, bizkaineno, Bovaneno, the tatis, the mummies, the meidalach, the yingalach. We're all going to chag. We're having a party. We're going to have fun. But you a carbon they only bring a carbon oila. A guy brings an oila all to Hashem, right? Okay, we also do that. But we know how to bring a shlamim. We bring a carbon pesach that we roast. We have a ball on the yoke, right? We have fun. When we bring a carbon, it's everyone's eating. Tati, mami, Gitti and Beryl and Bobby, they're all munching their, eating up, whatever it is, having fun, Simchas Yom Tov. So Moshe Rabbeinu is telling Parai, we have fun, us Jews. We're going to have a party together. You like this shot? Parai's one of those. You have fun. Hey, where are we up to? So, anyway, so Gershon gave me his cornflakes. Yeah? Who heard about the cornflakes? I gotta say it again. The cornflakes are in here. I made it to this. That's not bullshit. The cornflakes. Is 8. The cornflakes. I'm all over the place. Oh no. You got me with all the cornflakes? Basically. That's a great story. Now listen to this one. So, they're great. By the way, I look at this, it's Gan Eden. It's Pashut Gan Eden. The main thing is, it has a touch of my best friend over here. It has, anyway, I'm sure he's everything's good. Now, anyway, what was I saying? The cornflakes. Oh, so Gershon's Kamikron told me, Novandi is the way they eat. They mix. What are you sitting, Kaveh? You're too heavy. What? No, this doesn't go with that. Mommy! I told the kids in my class, I know you like a book. When you come home, I talk about kibbutz Avim. Mommy, how many times do I have to tell you, don't put the ketchup on the right side? No, it messes. Mommy, I told you I don't eat that stuff. You know, I was once in a camp that was a very, whatever. And there was a kid there who was super rich. And he was sick all summer. And I had a job to take care of the kid. The kid was sick all summer. And he was in the infirmary. They paid big bucks, the family, that he should be in camp. So he should have a good time. He was in the infirmary. He lived there all summer. And I used to bring him his food. And I gave him bread. He only ate white bread. You know, this fluffy stuff. From Oilam doesn't, I don't know if they have it or not. The square ones. And it's white. The bread is white. There's milk in there. It's fluffy. It melts in your mouth. That's all he ate. I don't eat regular bread. I only eat that. And of that, he took the middle because the sides, the crust, oh no. I don't eat that stuff. Then he says, I gave him some milk. I don't drink milk. I only drink chocolate milk. That's all I drink. He had a whole bunch of the mahalas, how he did things, you know, how to be. He was like, it wasn't easy. He was sick. He was depressed. He was sick because he had to be. Now, Novandig is, that's an extreme. So Novandig is eat everything and anything. It's fine. I don't want to tell you what I saw happen. I will not say it in public. This is what Al-Takim won't say. But privately, I'll tell you. I saw my own eyes, and Novandig wanted to do a prat in front of me. And he went ahead right in front of me, and he went, and he wanted to make sure I saw. So the prat should be chal. You know, let him see what I am. I saw Rav Galinsky once did one of those with eating. I'm not saying it over Barabam. Because the Olam, American Olam, what? It's not so much what he ate, it's how. It's a whole, you gotta know, they laugh at the world. They're normal, by the way. You know, I gotta watch this. I don't have to watch. Somebody said, Mendel, watch what you're saying. Somebody said he went into a restaurant and he started pigging out, and he's opening up his shirt and he's pressing his head off, and he says, Rabbi Mendel said, Mendel said, you had to chill out. So I was wondering, should I address this? Should I get concerned? I says, let me ask you a question. I asked the guy, before he discovered Rabbi Mendel to be makel on whatever he's doing over there, was he okay? He says, no, he wasn't okay. So he says, I don't think. So he already he was a little azoi, needs a little bit does. But so now he can blame me on the next Mishigas that he's got to do. I'm doing a prat. What do you want? It's a prat. In Novandig, they all do it. Big tach. So there were, a kid once called me up. This is true, what? Oh, there you go. That's so good. Now, so once a kid calls me up. Rabbi Mendel, I want to do a prat. Yeah. You want to do it? Yes. I want to do a prat. A real innocent American, Tamim. I want to do a prat. So what do you want to do? I want to put my hat on backwards. What do you think, Rabbi Mendel? Do you think it's a good idea? I told him on the telephone, don't you dare! They're going to think you're a taita meshugana. Bye. That's it. Don't give me no prat. Rabbi Mendel said, you stop. Ban meshugayim. That's it. I'll bet you all about the body is, pratim, or watch every move you make. Oh, it's just a prat. Now, I get away with bloody murder because I am a little not perfect. A little bit not perfect. Basically, I'm perfect, but a little bit not here and there. But I want to repeat. Basically, I'm taka perfect. I'm a beshita. You ever hear of a Shir Hashim says, Kulach yofa rayasi o mum ein bach? I'm one of those. I'm like, perfect. Mum ein bach. By the way, it's not easy. I recommend a lot of people out there to feel you are kulach yofa rayasi o mum ein bach. I'm perfect. I'm telling you. Don't think it's a bad look. They come Pesach. Summer. I tie it. Summer without a mum. That means, or whatever. I have shottam in that. Summer means tamimus. Summer means I have everything. That's why Korban Pesach is nechal ala soiva. Because I'm full. Korban Pesach. You eat it to show. Bishul is no good. You're eating water. Don't eat meat. Just me. Kirba Chaim, inside, outside. And then you're dark. Your anivus take. The real anivus is that you're sameach b'cholkai. You don't eat outside. You don't have to spread like. You don't have to spread like bishul. Bashal mavushal b'mayim. Spread out. Become roast again and again. Go over yourself day and night, 24/7. How great I am. How's that? Don't get so depressed. You read stories. They told me the story about Sheva Kanevsky. That tzaddikus, she should be a Malitza Yosha. I know a story my sister told me. Was she a tzaddikus? But when ladies read that, you know how many ladies got good depressed? Because they think they have to be like her. I say, each lady should write a book about herself first. And appreciate herself. And then you could read it. You know that you could be bigger than her. You know that. The fight, even though she's bigger, you could be bigger because you have challenges and it's hard for you. Okay, anyway, let's get back. Where were we up to? So Reb Gershon helped me. So Kamakron told me this. I want to tell you, I mentioned Kamakron. I don't want to get too involved in this. It might be very, very kedai that I should. Somebody, a friend of mine, who's one of my several, was having issues what to do. He went to Reb Kalman. He's a good guy to know for Yeshua. And Reb Kalman said, learn a black Gemara for an hour. That will be, I'm not talking about Musa now. Learning Gemara is therapeutic. You don't know what it is. I would talk about it much more. But I'm supposed to be a Musanik around here. So I don't want to get too involved in that. I leave that to all the yeshivas. But you have no idea. You know, it lowers your blood pressure. You know, harving and learning lowers your blood pressure. You know that? You know, learning it's so healthy. It's learning by smother, especially. Learning with Gishmak. Now, I want to tell you one more thing. There's a Rosh Yeshiva right here in Lakewood. He told me himself. I don't even think he's talking about his name, but I like to be cautious. Maybe next time I'll ask him. He's a Gainaylam. He knows everything. A sweetie at Tzaddik Yisrael. He has a Maisi. He never collects. Lately he does one thing once a year, but that's it. He does nothing, and the money rolls in all over. I says, what's your secret? He says, he davens day and night for a Geshmak and learning. He davens day and night for a Geshmak and learning. But he learns. He knows about Evno. That's the Nusach. And he loves to learn. And the schutz of learning Geshmak brings in the money. Now look, there were Gedolei Yisrael that went knocking on doors and going all over places. I'm not putting down nobody. In the Novandig they did it. Biggest tzaddikim did it. But I just want to say, if you can get yourself a mentality that Torah, listen, if Chazal say, Chash b'roisha yasi b'Torah. No, it's a Chazal. I have stories with the ultimate Slobodka. The ultimate Slobodka, somebody was sick, and he cured him by getting the Elam to learn extra. To learn now the extra half hour, and he had a Yeshua. He was a Tchiyas HaMesha. But now I'm going to tell you a little bit about getting back to Musa. I didn't want to get too. Now I say like this: I don't like to be seen with a Gemara. I want to be seen with a Musa Sefer. That's me. I like to be seen with a Musa Sefer. How's that? And I once told one of these big Chachamim, he Harvard's learning. I'm good friends with him, but he's very different than me. I don't know if he ever opens a Musa Sefer. I don't know if I ever open a Gemara. I'm joking. But whatever, both cases. But I told him once, you know, I'm much better off than you are. You're the Torah guy, and I'm the Musa guy. I'm much better off than you are. Why? Because you go around getting covered. I don't get this silly covered. I don't get covered for being about Musa. You don't get covered for that. So I'm much better off than you are. You're busy with your covered, Mishigas. I don't get covered. Much better to be about Musa. How's that one? For that alone. Who wants to be a ganze Talmud Chacham? I want to be officially about Musa. That's why even if I will open a Gemara, I don't want anyone to see. Because I want to be known for Musa. But I'm going to tell you another one. Listen to this. That one I just made up. But this I'm not, this I'm not making up. This is true. When I went to France, I spoke to an Adam Gadol B'Neira, one of the biggest people alive today. And I told him, you know why I go to France? You know why I go to France? I'll tell you why. I don't know how much I'm getting out of it. You know, I used to come back, what are you studying? What are you getting out of this? I says, you know why I'm going? The world needs a person to do a thing like that. To go over the ocean to meet a person like Rabbi Yeshua Liebman. Klal Yisrael needs that. I'm doing it, have a mind. He loved that. This person is a Gadol B'Neira. He loved this. And I recommend, if you want to get into Musa, have in mind Klal Yisrael. Musa needs a boost. It means you do something that the Klal needs such a thing. You know, when you're looking, Mavakish as Hashem, you're running after the world needs Shemesh. There's great people. You want to get Shemesh? Right here in Lakewood. You know these Rosh Yeshivas? You know where they are? Get Shemesh. Rabbi Kiel, I got a bracha from one of them. And I had a Yeshua. I saw right away. I don't want to go into detail who it went. One of them is famous. Maybe I could advertise it. Somebody had to cross the border. And he went to one of those 4 Rosh Yeshivas. And he said, say, Einam Avadai, just keep doing it. You'll get across without a passport. It was Canada. He did it, and it worked. That's one of the 4. I believe he's open about it. But I don't know. I'm cautious. But all those 4 Rosh Yeshivas are holy people. Get Shemesh. Chaparayim. These people they have schusim. They have brachas. The Rabbonim in Lakewood, you know, they are ridiculous. I call them up for brachas all the time. Whenever I meet any of the Rosh Yeshivas, I run for a bracha. I run like the biggest Rebbe. They're big. Chaparayim. And then there's okay, anyway. So, my latest mifus. You know, I made a cheshbon with Yosef and Moshe. You know, Yosef HaTzadik. Why doesn't the Welt stelzach on the fact that Yosef is constantly building himself up? Why doesn't he let him sit on that? I don't know why. It's a riot, that's the emes. Why don't they take a look? Moshe Rabbeinu, he hesitates. Moshe is very different. I mentioned this last time, though. Moshe is so different. He's a non. You can learn from both of them. You got to learn. These are Rabbeim. When you learn these parshas, you got to take it serious. You want to relate to them. Be mispal leibish. I want to be a Yosef. I want to be a Moshe. I want to be. You know, they say anybody who's careful with Yoni Yisoid, it's a piece of Yosef goes inside of him. You know, you connect with these people. And I would. By the way, self-esteem is very, very powerful in the sugya of kedusha. It is. I got a telephone call from a Yid in Eretz Yisrael. Mendel, you're talking about self-esteem, has helped me conquer my kedusha issues. You know what happens when you hold? Guess who falls into this? People think they're nobodies. You know that? All those kids who they're not getting enough covered. They go, then they get covered, then they do whatever. So it has Novhardok is it's all covered. That whole sugya, everything's covered by them. Rabbi Yeshua, they told me once that when you're eating, you don't want beans, you want a steak. Why do you want a steak? It doesn't pass for you beans. Not because the steak pays. No, they don't believe in that stuff. Tastes better. You think it tastes better. That's they talk you into it. Live in China where everyone's eating beans all day. Before you turn around, you won't look at steak anymore. I'm just giving a muscle. You don't know how much your brain is totally. You know, Geshen told me, I came off the plane, and right away he says, you know, getting on that plane, there's a nisyanis, you know, and how's it going? He asked me. You know what he once told me? It must be very hard to sit like this all the time, and then not look over there. There's a Meister of Scheinberg. You got on a plane, and what happened? They started turning it on, whatever. Scheinberg got up. Show of hands. Who doesn't care about it? So a couple of young light were there. See, nobody wants it. And they took it. That's a story. They took it. There's another story with him. Everyone's worked except for his. There's a Meister of Geshen on the plane. When they started showing stuff, the Geshen said, "Tachat adelet, tachat adelet, open the door." So his gabbai, he tells his gabbai, "Tachat adelet, open the door." So his gabbai tells him, "Rabbeinu, anu ba'avir, we're in the air. Azma, Azma, that's what Geshen. Azma, so what? You're in avir. So, anyway, I want to tell you, that's you don't ask about what happened, but I'll tell you what I do. I once did this more than once. I'm sitting on the plane, and look, you don't want to look, but sometimes they show you how to put on this and put on the seat, how to put on just in case. Then you fetch and you do this, and they show you all. What they demonstrate, and while they demonstrate, they show you. So there was a steward was standing over there. I blew my stack. I am. What was the lashon? I was lashon. He's a sharp one. Like, this is disgusting. I told the guy, this is disgusting. What are they showing here? I didn't come for this. I didn't pay for this. This is ridiculous now. First thing I tell him right away, I says, I don't mean you. You're a nice guy. In fact, I like your smile. I enjoy, you're great. He is my best friend. That's clear. Compliments people don't give. It's so funny. Whenever you give a compliment, a waiter, a guy, they melt. They're not used to it. You know that? It's so interesting. He was like, yes. That's all he heard. That's all that's important. And then I blowing my stack. How dare you show this disgusting stuff? I didn't pay for this. It's ridiculous. Who can I speak to about this? I make sure to say it loud so everybody should hear. And I make a whole rumpus. I hold it to Kiddush Hashem. Because the whole world is cuckoo. So everybody has to go along. Everybody, it's not right. They have no right showing things. That's because they are so far gone that they don't even have a Yetzer Hara anymore. I'm still alive, Baruch Hashem. I still have a healthy Yetzer Hara. These people, the story of the Rebbe and this Bacha wanted to go to Chassan, and there was a little bit, not so from, whatever, and he says, and Rebbe says, what about, you're going to see things over there. The Bacha said, it doesn't bother me. Rebbe Yalapin said, I'm 90. One eye, I don't see it all. The other eye it's all mess. And me, it bothers, Maybe you need a doctor, maybe. So that's the way I look at things. I think they all need doctors. The guy can sit there and everything's fine. What do you mean everything's fine? You're already so immune, and you don't even chapetz rachmanas if you're so immune. What? This guy, no, it wasn't a gay. It was off in a minute anyway. But I had to say my piece. And I did this more than once. I said my piece, and I made sure everyone should hear. So I'll be the Apeshit shall see somebody still normal in this crazy world. There's one normal guy still around. That's me. And I started screaming my top off. I love making a whole show, and everybody's watching. Look at him! Wow! I made a whole show, and then I went. Itaka went to. He gave me a name and a number. As soon as you get off, then I go to the guy in the ticket place. A guy, an official over there who works there, who's one of the big shots from the airline. And I told him I'm very, very disappointed. It was a great flight, nice and the stewards were great, especially so and so. Tell them, don't worry, I'm going to tell the boss you have the best smile in the whole place. Anyway, I do these type of things. They love it. They eat you up. And all these waiters, the Mexicans, whatever, I always compliment them. Oh, you have a nice smile. Always do it. You know what you do to them? You want to make Shay gets happy. I promise you. I've done this more than once. You want to make him happy? If he's walking his dog, make a compliment on that dog. I'm telling you, more than nachas from kids by far. What are kids compared to a poodle? A poodle, a kleiner guy, he wags his tail, he's cute. They take him to a special beauty parlor to poodle comes first. Man's best friend, I'm poodle. Yes, but my poodle. It's funny. They have their pets. I once walked in the Amalga shop right now. I don't know what's going on in the Heintiger, but I remember in ShopRite, let's say there were 6 aisles. There was a whole aisle for dogs and cat food. It was loaded strictly for the pets. Pets have a big. Anyway, so you compliment. Oh, that's a beautiful dog. They'll blush. Thank you so much. What?
The person or
The dog. Huntel. What? What? I like to be a nice person. The Mandels. Once did some made things. The guy were coming to pick up some garbage or something. I read this. My Uncle Ruby, my Uncle Penny, my Uncle Manis, my father. I remember who was there. I remember Uncle Ruby distinctly. He was there. They wanted to make it easier for the goyim to pick. So they made certain. There were packages that had to be taken away. So they made a stick old handle for it, a makeshift type of handle. So, and they said, "A goy is a mensch." You got to be a nice person. You know what my mother used to do? We had. Far Rockaway those days. My father was the only beard. He was the first beard in America. Come on, him and about 10 other people, whatever. But he was murdered, and they didn't care. My father was a happy person. He got along with all the game. The dogs. There's Mike Santora. His name was. I hope my brothers and sisters are listening to this. They remember Mike. Mike. He lived down the block. Mike was a heavy-set guy. By the way. The Italians, there's a lot of Jewish blood. Rabbi Yaakov said, watch out. There was a whole tumult about gayris with them. During the Renaissance, there was a lot of intermarriage because they were the best of the goyim, the Italians. And it's not so pashut. There's a reason why Italians can sometimes be super nice and similar to Jews. They look, Esav and Yaakov were twin brothers. That's another shmooze. They look the same. You know that? It's a chazal. Rabbi Hirsch says that they look the same. The color is something else, whatever. But this